Hey everyone, so you have CBC out there with their pollster, right? Their main man who's out there trying to influence your decision-making process in regards to the 2019 elections. And that's what these pollsters do. That's what they always do. The whole pretense of these polls is to suggest to you what's popular and what's not. And it's all about the sampling and how they put their questions together and the kind of people that they pose those questions to. And then we've seen time and time again how they're completely out of touch and proven to be inaccurate. And the reason for that is I'll let you in on the secret, folks, is because most people are onto this fact, and the pollsters only have a very small select group of people that will actually take their polls or be honest with them. So in reality, like I say, the representation that they think they have, now it's not a true representation of the entire population, but it is a representation of the very people they poll. That's the only part that is actually true. But once again, 1,000 or 2,000 people is not truly representative of 36 or 37 million people. They don't want you to know that, though. They want you to think that if the pollster says the liberals are way out in front, it's because, well, why bother try to beat them? They're already going to look at how far they're ahead of everyone else. Well, might as well just stay home and they're going to win anyways. That's basically what they're trying to tell you. And we've seen a clear-cut example, well, the most recent example. Well, let me just first point out the New Brunswick elections, the BC elections, the Ontario elections, the Quebec elections. I mean, practically every recent election, the pollsters have been wrong. And it's not just the Canadian ones. Look at down south, like Trump. Everyone said, especially all the political pundits and those in the established media, no, Trump didn't stand a chance. Meanwhile, well, I guess they were wrong all along. Just like Brexit, there was no chance that that Brexiters were going to win. Well, they won though, I guess. So once again, they're constantly being proven wrong. So that should be your first point to pause, right? Where it's like, maybe I shouldn't trust these people after all. But they're still trying to double down, and why not, I guess? Hey, if CBC wants to keep forcing the Canadians to pay people like Eric Grenay for these polls, well, hey, once again, as long as it's not coming out of their pocket, as long as they can force us to pay for it, they'll keep playing these games as long as people will let them. But I mean, if you see this chart here, I mean, come on. They're basically trying to show like that Maxime Bernier and the People's Party of Canada has like 1% of support. I think they called it 1.4%. Yeah, only 1% of the Canadian population supports Maxime Bernier. Well, I mean, think about it. That's not even remotely resembling anything factual. Just look at the numbers of the people that have already signed up to be founding members of the People's Party of Canada. And they were doing it even before it was fully documented and registered as a legitimate party. People were already jumping on board before before the ink had even dried. And we're seeing how popular Maxime Bernier and the People's Party of Canada has already become, and it's only been, what, a couple weeks since the party was even formed. So to suggest that it's only 1% support, so don't worry about them. Like, even the Greens get more than that, but let me tell you, watching 2019 and see who's going to surprise a whole lot of people out there in regards to just how popular a party that actually stands on principled convictions in regards to individual rights and freedom in this country, you're going to find out that actually Canadians are very much willing to adopt and accept a political party in this country that actually does stand firm on genuine principles in regards to freedoms and liberties, both social and economic. Because that's the other thing. Canadians today, whether you're more on the social side of things, yeah, you might if you're like a social conservative, yeah, you're going to always stay with the conservatives. Or if you're one of these lefties, these far lefties that always thinks everything's free and government should take care of you from cradle to grave, yeah, they're always going to stay on that side of the political spectrum. But that doesn't comprise and make up the bulk of the population of people in Canada. Most people are just reasonable people that just are looking for somewhere where they can cast a ballot. And we know that's another thing. We already know that there's upwards, depending on the particular election, 35 to 40% of the entire population, of the voting age population in Canada, that don't even show up to vote. And why? Because they recognize that, well, you're not offering me anything that I even want to stand for. Maxime is, and people, trust me, are very much excited and enthusiastic about it. And this is just one example of that. Even though I'll acknowledge it's yet another poll, but hey, why would you choose to listen to CBC in regards to their polls and give precedent or priority to that than this one? Headline, Global News, analysis, Trudeau, Scheer, and Singh grapple with a restless electorate hungry for new choices. by David Atkin, Chief Political Correspondent, Global News. The voters are restless. This should come as no surprise to those who have been paying attention to what's been going on over the last few years in our provincial politics. But this restlessness, this desire among many in the electorate for something new on their political menu, will be a key force shaping the year ahead in federal electoral politics. In its most recent pulse taking of voters, Ipsos asked survey respondents how willing they might be to vote for a federal political party that was not the Liberals, Conservatives, or NDP. Ipsos added the Bloc Québécois to this list for Quebec respondents. The answer was a remarkable 51%. More than half of the electorate is hungry for something new. We saw the clearest manifestation of this disregard for old guard and a preference for something new in the recent New Brunswick provincial election. The vote was held on September 24, and a month later, it's still not entirely clear which party will form the government. Why? New Brunswickers gave 3 seats each to the Green Party and to a party unique and new to that province called the People's Alliance. Brian Gallant's Liberals, the incumbent governing party, won 21 seats, one less seat than Blaine Higgs' Progressive Conservatives, and while they sort out who will command the confidence of the 49-seat legislature, surely both of those old-line parties must ponder the significance of the fact that nearly 30% of all those who cast a ballot in New Brunswick did not cast one for either the Liberals or PCs. As recently as 2003, nearly 95% of voters were picking red or blue on New Brunswick's election day. Last month, barely 60% made that choice. Yeah, times they are a-changing, folks. So, I mean, you can try to wish it away. You can try to pretend that's not happening, but it's going to happen regardless. Move west to Quebec, where last week a party that had never held power, the Coalition Avenir Quebec, or CAQ, was sworn into office, given a majority by Quebec voters that seemed thrilled to have a federalist option on the menu that was not named the Liberal Party of Quebec. That party and its longtime sparring partner, the Parti Québécois, crashed to all-time lows in popular support. In Ontario, a desire for change was so strong that the electorate hardly seemed to care what the opposition Progressive Conservatives stood for. While Patrick Brown led the party, he advocated in favor of a carbon tax and was rewarded with polls that kept his party averaging in the low 40s in popular support. Then Brown got ousted, Doug Ford took over and promised to attack any idea of a carbon tax. That didn't make one bit of a difference to PC popular vote support, and on election day, Ford won his crushing majority with 40.5% of the vote. It's hard to imagine a more clear desire for change among an electorate than watching a party maintain such a strong lead over a rival despite a late-stage flip-flop on such a key issue. Brown, Ford, who cares? Just change. And here, once again, you can see by the charts here, folks, yeah, the majority of Canadians are definitely chomping on the bit and yearning for real change. We're all tired of this. Oh, even now, the Conservatives and the Liberals, they're so close in terms of policy. Like, it's just a matter of tweaking around the edges that you can find anything that even separates them in anything that's substantive. They're so closely in line that, once again, the Canadian people are saying, hey, give us some actual options here. Stop trying to throw us, whether it's the Liberals or the Conservatives, which are liberal lights, or the NDippers are like pure socialists. Like, no, we're not going with socialists. So basically, Canadians are forced to pick between the Liberals or the Conservatives, and they're saying, no, we recognize that they're both two wings of the same bird. Just like down in the U.S., they recognize that the establishment, both the Republican establishment and the Democrats, they're just two wings of the same bird, and that's why they elected Trump. It's like, no, he's an outsider. And in Canada, you better believe, no, we're not somehow magical or averse to having any populism or need for change in the political realm. And any pretense by any media pundit or any establishment political candidate or party is to say, hey, stick with us, don't worry, stick with the status quo. That's all they're basically trying to tell you when they try to spew that kind of rhetoric. But no, Canadians are definitely in the mood and ready for some real change in this country. I'll post a link to this article in the description of the video below. But I mean, once again, here you're seeing, supposedly, if you asked Eric Grenier, if you only pay attention to CBC and their pollster, hey, Bernier, the People's Party candidate, well, hey, 1% support, don't worry about that. Canadians seem to be more than happy with the establishment, the status quo, right? Because they're saying basically that the Conservatives and the Liberals, well, the Liberals will still a little bit in the lead, but the Conservatives are right there. That's the pretense. That's what they're saying is, no, it's the establishment. Oh, they're the status quo. No, everyone's still right on board with supporting either of them. But this poll suggests the exact opposite. Now, like I said, I'm not a fan of polls. I know they can be manipulated and they can be skewed to get whatever answer you want, depending on the people you sample and depending on the particular questions involved in these polls. I mean, if you've been, well, if you've actually been alive and been talking about politics to people out there, do you really need a poll to know that, yes, Canadians are desperate at this point to have some real change? Especially in one that cares about freedoms and liberty. You see it out there, folks, because that's what people, every time people are out there looking for this change, it's so that they can get more freedoms, right? So they can have more liberty. So to suggest that when a party steps up the plate, like Maxime Bernier and the People's Party of Canada, and says, hey, we're going to give you the freedoms that these establishment parties have promised all along but have never delivered on, we're going to actually do it for real. Because we have a principled leader and we have a principled platform and a lot of bold Canadians that are willing to do the right thing and push back against the political orthodoxy or the political correctness or that narrowly confined allowable opinions or narratives that we're seeing espoused by the establishment in the media and the political parties. Now, Canadians know and they recognize, Canadians aren't stupid. They know damn well that the only way we're going to have any real change in this country is to throw out the old guard and start fresh with something new. And right now, the safest bet that you can place is within Maxime Bernier and the People's Party of Canada. Go Max, go. Hashtag PPC 2019. It's Canadian Libertarian, and I love liberty.